And this is how it goes. Knight f3, pawn e6, pawn g3. And now what's the most outlandish move you can think of from black in this position? Pawn g5, got to be the greatest opening of 2026, played by the man himself, Magnus Carlsen, world number 1. It's online chess, titled Tuesday, 4th of August 2026, and he plays it against Nodirbek Yakuboyev, a very strong Uzbekistani youngster. What a game this is. Will Magnus get punished? Or will he do some spanking himself? He continues to break opening principles, pushing that pawn. This is online chess, of course, 5 minutes each. It's attacked now and so defended by another pawn, blasting off, ploughing down the board. This is exciting. Magnus refuses to develop pieces. Still the pawns, kicks the pony. That's 5 pawn moves in a row. Now the bishop gets out into the game, and after takes, pawn takes, couple of rooks going into the blender. Do you play pawn c3 here, which is fine, or do you play the even stronger pawn to e4, opening the line of sight from the queen, offering this pawn, which Magnus takes, best line, but this bishop's a bit out on a limb. Moved 1, 2, 3 times now. Meanwhile, the queen is streaming into the game in one move, hitting the loose knight. You run this with the engine, it wants king to f8. That's how bad things are. Magnus plays knight e7 instead. Knight f6 was a bit suicidal. The bishop blocked backwards. Bishop g5 on the way. So this keeps a bit more flexibility. But after pawn c3, bishop backing up, there's now the incredibly strong pawn e5. Not played, missed. But the point is that after takes, there's knight b to d2. Headed for e4, and it's just a world of pain for the black side of things. Missed, however. This one was immediately developed, and it allows Magnus a little fight back. He starts with this move, further covering this square here, if I could draw arrows. This knight rotates around, and now Magnus manages to punch through this e5 move. Open up the bishop, which gains a tempo. Queen h5 played, and now knight g6. And yes, Magnus is worse, but he is starting to unravel. Get his bits out. Knight g5's played here. Queen e7. Knight h7 now. Multiple pony moves, but there is a purpose. Go for that bishop pair. It's gonna be lost, so Magnus carries on developing, but not with the standard bishop d7. There's this absolutely wild knight c5 move that can come if you play bishop d7, with the idea of bishop c4 on the way. I mean, let's not even go there. But in the game, Magnus finds the epic knight f8. Excuse me. Underdeveloping, forcing that pony to make a decision, which it does. Check. But now, after all of this and bishop g5 picking up the tempo, you can play queen g6. Queen g7 was also possible, but here you offer the exchange, you can take back with the knight to maintain your pawn structure, and you're doing okay. We don't see takes, which was apparently best. Who wants a queenless endgame against Magnus? Knight h7 now from Magnus hopping back, bishop e3 and bishop g4. Somehow Magnus has completed his development. He's stopping the white king from castling. So bishop g2, the stinky pawn f6 interrupts this laser beam. Black can now castle. White does it by hand here because, of course, the bishop was a problem. And now we get the 000. It's not even Christmas, but it's on the board. Rook h1 prepares to win that knight. So what does it do? You guessed it. Back to the promised land. What a move. This is why Magnus Carlsen practices his pony manoeuvring down in the Oslo training camps. It's games like this, closed positions where he knows he's going to need that visualization. You could now play queen takes here. Queen takes, bishop h3, winning it back with the skewer. Not played. f4 instead. Nodebek roars as he gains that space. We see knight d7, not the best. Prefers was takes, but that looks crazy, bringing the knight in with tempo. But what do we know as mere mortals? The metal machines see all. The position is now closed. Queen backs up, still stays with the bishop. Also pressures a pawn, although it's not really going anywhere. This bishop is a bit of a problem. b3 was played anyway, and Magnus now gets in d5. Now how can you possibly play that move when the queen is trying to also support the bishop as well as the centre? Well, if you take, supported by the bishop, this knight can drop back, and there's now two loose pawns. So this wonderful connect 4 doesn't actually stop you losing a pawn, and the queen's attacked, and the bishop suddenly has a square. So you're not advised, well advised, to take that pawn. It wasn't played. Knight f2, great move, best move, hits the bishop twice, and Magnus says, who cares? Finds the absolute best move here. He's forced to find a good move, to be fair, because the bishop is trapped. He plays pawn d4, punching through the center of the board. Beautiful. Takes, pawn recaptures. Now if you pick up here, you're taking with check and opening the d file, and the queen might enter one day. Maybe not on the light squares, but the dark squares. So in the game, we saw bishop f4, good move, and now Magnus goes absolutely nuts. His best here is bringing a knight to the center to defend the bishop, but it wasn't played. He goes for the outlandish queen f8, gets the double question marks of doom because you're sacking an entire piece. Now best is actually queen takes. You'll see why in a minute. Knight takes was played in the game. Queen a3 now from Magnus, not the check. Going one further, looking to gobble this pawn with check. No rook a1, queen b2. So in the game, we saw king e1 running from the check. The bishop's loose. Anyway, the bishop is now attacked after the queen takes on a2. And we start to see why the queen was better to take on g4. Imagine the knight's on f2. You haven't got a bishop problem, and you've got a defender of the king and the d3 square, and with the queen on g4 you could have bounced back to d1, covered b3, much more harmony. Here the pieces are a bit discombobulated. Bishop f3 therefore played instead. Pawn d3 from Magnus clears a square for the knight. I mean, he's really showing here you can play anything in the opening. When you're as good as Magnus, you make chances. If you want to learn proper openings, by the way, do get Lotus Chess. It's fantastic, as I've said many times. The link's down in the description. Free to get started. Magnus wants to bring a knight to the center of the board, so queen h2 was played to try and bring some defensive pieces back. Offer an exchange of the ladies. No chance. Magnus wants to attack the king. Gobble a pawn. Queen d2 is the best move. Now knight b6, headed for the massive c4 square. That's why knight e3 to defend against that threat. And now the other trump that Magnus has got for the sacrificed piece, the outside passed a pawn. I mean, he's actually got 1, 2, 3, 4 passed connected pawns, but they need rumbling. The king could get loose. He's trying it with this one first. Now we see rook h7. Good move, going for counterplay. This knight centralizes therefore, and the bishop gives itself up. Yes, giving the bishop pair, but gaining a passer in compensation for that move. Couldn't find the word there. Bishop d1's played. It's been a long day, by the way. Long week for me, long month. Crazy day job, because I do still work my day job. Sorry I can't always get up the videos when I want to, but we're cracking on. We're doing our best here. Queen b5's played, and Magnus finds the most epic, sneaky maneuver. Watch this. f6 pushes the passer, and queen c5. This is such a cool, creeping little silent killer move, because unbelievably, Magnus is threatening mate in 1 if this knight moves. You know, imagine a stupid move like knight c2. This is mate. Look at that. And the queen also boxes in the king. So this is why there's a tactical shot in the air. This was played, completely missing it. Magnus is killing it now. He misses it, but not for a second time. The double blunder pawn push was played. So understandable, low on time, 10 seconds. This is what happens, right? And look at this. Bang! Forces resigns on the spot, because you're simply winning an entire piece. Say you tried king f2 to defend, or rook h3, well then you just win a queen. So this is the point. And if you save the queen from the knight's attack, well now you just win an entire knight. And you're going to check the king, and the queen's still in the vicinity, and the pieces are swarming, the pawn's running. You know, you're no longer material ahead, you're material down. So that was the end of the game. Somehow Magnus does it with this wacky opening once again, and he finished top of the tree in the standings. Incredible tournament. Esports World Cup just started. I'll look to get some of that soon, but I am off for a week soon, family holidays, so the videos are going to be a bit patchy, I'm afraid. I'll do my best. Thank you for all your support, and have a look at the video on screen if you want to see another epic game of chess played by Wesley So. Immortal game. Cheers.